Hi everyone. I am literally sitting here thinking, is anybody going to see me today? Because my internet has been going on and off for the past hour and my face keeps freezing, so I really apologise if you're tuning in and wondering why is Kelly not moving and why is her mouth not speaking. I'm going to keep doing this video and hopefully you will see it. If not, it'll be an entertaining video of frozen faces and frozen voices. So this is life and the internet. My computer does some strange things sometimes. I'm going to take a breath like I do on most of my videos. If you're new to tuning into my lives, I tend to take it quite easy, quite slowly, because I feel like in life we don't really get the chance to pause and we don't get the chance to really receive and absorb what we need to absorb. At the moment my face is frozen, so you may not be able to see me, but we'll see. I'll keep talking and hope that my video will catch up, and if it doesn't, I'll just redo it again. And I have a whistly nose. So I'm going to talk about the topic of happiness, and I'm praying that you can see me and my video is not cutting off all the time. I've been thinking a lot about happiness this past week, and last year I went to see a healer and he said to me, Kelly, you know what your issue is? You're frightened of the light. And I'd already been working through the fact that I was afraid of success and I was afraid of being seen. But I didn't realise until this past week that there is still a resistance to happiness. But before we even consider happiness, we really understand what it is. I think many people, especially in the West, we've been taught that happiness is an outcome, that it's a destination that we're going to reach for, that sometime in the future we're all going to be happy, all our eggs are going to be full in the basket, or our ducks are all going to be lined up in a row. We're going to have the perfect house, the perfect relationship, the perfect whatever. And I'm sure if you're watching my videos you know how much of an illusion this is, that we're really brainwashed to believe that happiness is something that we can get, that happiness is something that we can grasp onto. But the truth of the matter is, happiness is not a thing, it's not a person, it's not an outcome, it's not a future, it's not a destination that you can reach for. The true essence of happiness is actually, if you think about the sky or a container, happiness is this container that contains every experience that we ever have. So happiness holds, contains, allows joy, it allows peace, it allows sorrow, it allows boredom, it allows fear, it allows everything. Happiness is always something that has been inside of us. It has always been here. The problem with us humans is that we create lives, thoughts, beliefs. We allow conditioning from our past to kind of strip us of that happiness. We get attached to unhappiness. We get used to discomfort and stress. Now, I was reading something from a newsletter that came recently this week by one of my teachers that I really like, called Osho. He's an Eastern mystic. And the top of the newsletter said, happiness is not the end result of desire. Happiness is an attitude. So we know what happiness is not, And he also said that happiness is man's nature or woman's nature. And you need not worry about happiness at all. It is already there. It is in your heart. You just have to stop being unhappy. Now you're probably watching thinking, well, that is easier said than done. How can we just stop being unhappy? Well, we need to find out what it is for us. What is happiness? Why are we resisting feeling a sense of acceptance in life? Why are we feeling like our current reality is not enough? Why do we resist what arises? Because it's the resisting that where the struggle comes in. That's where the unhappiness is. And I've been asking myself this, why do I resist happiness? And I think sometimes we tend to put happiness into this nice, tidy little package. We think happiness should come in this certain specific form or shape. For me, for example, it could be with a relationship. I've been talking to my best friend Michael this past week, and I've been looking at my past relationships. And I realised in the past I would open myself to intimacy and connection with a man, another human being. And as soon as I opened, I closed because I was afraid. I was afraid of losing that intimacy. There was a loss and abandonment issues in my past, rejection. So I would close down, and the way that I would close down would be to sabotage in many ways that sense of opening, that sense of real true happiness. And I did this by focusing on what I didn't have in the relationship. I would point at flaws I perceived in the other person, be it character flaws, be it physical flaws. I don't know if you've ever watched the series Friends. There's a character called Chandler, and in one episode he talks about how he really found it hard to not focus on certain features in women. For example, he would see a woman and he'd think she was beautiful and amazing, had a great personality, and then after a while he would suddenly focus on her extremely large head. And I have to admit and confess, I have done the same thing. I don't know about you. I would focus on the shape of a man's body. I would focus on his hair. It would be really, really superficial things I would focus on. And it was like there was this vision of me, and I would just have this tunnel vision onto that one flaw, and I would make it the whole relationship about that flaw. And I didn't know at the time that I was rejecting that connection. I was rejecting the intimacy and the genuine happiness that can come about when you really open up to a human being. So if you feel that you sort of reject happiness, have a look at why. What is it in your current life that you find really difficult to accept? Is it possible that the things that you aren't seeing in other people or in your life that you want, that you need to bring it into yourself? For example, this is really silly, this is just not a really good example, but say you have a partner and you think their hair is horrible and you want them to do their hair better and you focus on that, but perhaps you're meant to focus on your own hair and you're meant to do your own hair better. Now this is really superficial, but you could look at your whole life like this. Whatever you want in other people or in life, see if you can pinpoint it in yourself that you need to do for yourself. And then you'll see that you're not resisting what is, you're allowing, and that other person may change or may not change, but it won't matter anymore because you will have embraced that quality within you. Now, you might be a bit like me also when it comes to happiness. Do you look to the future? Do you hope that your future will be better than your now? Are you really determined and goal driven, but to the point that it's really obsessive, that you think if you just do XYZ, you will be happy. I'm here to tell you, unfortunately, you will not. That is not where your happiness will come from. True, genuine happiness comes from being able to look at where you are now and to really hold it in a place of tenderness, in a place of love, in a place of gentleness. And I just wanted to say, anybody that's joining, my internet's going in and out, so if I keep freezing, I'm just having some issues there. And with unhappiness, I find that unhappiness is easier to control. You might think that's really strange. Why do I want to be unhappy? But the ego and the mind likes to have things it can control. It can control the outer circumstances of life. It can sabotage relationships. It can sabotage success. It can make things not work when they could be working quite easily. It can make problems where there are not problems. It will avoid all types of real solutions. And as humans, we really like to feel like we're in control. We're really scared of the unknown. We're really scared of uncertainty. So ask yourself, if you're able to, are you able to grasp the fact that you're maybe trying to control your reality? And consider and ponder happiness, real, genuine, true happiness. Are you afraid of happiness? Are you afraid of success? Are you afraid of love? All of those things that you may think you really want, but if you're feeling unhappy about right now, it could be that you're actually afraid of those things that you really want. And to experience that genuine happiness, you just need to start to accept what is. I know I've said this many times before. And to look to see whether you may be bypassing genuine happiness in your life because you think it's not packaged in the right way, because you think that it should be a certain way at a certain time. You think that it needs to be specifically with a certain person. For example, you might have this desire for love in your life, and perhaps you've gone from relationship to relationship to relationship and you're wondering why they never work out. But perhaps you've been looking at the person for your happiness instead of looking towards yourself. And when you're able to do that, then you can open to the possibility that love, that success, that true happiness can come from exactly what you've got right now. And I'll just use relationships as an example. You could look at what you have in your relationship. Look at the gifts of the human being in front of you. What blessings do they give you? What is here right now that you can really appreciate? Instead of looking at what that person has or hasn't got, what they need to be and what you haven't got in your life in any area, try to see if you can bring it into yourself first. What is it you need to give you that you're thinking that other or that success or that job or that outcome can give you? What can you give you now that you're looking for in that outer world? And then appreciate what is here. And I know it's the hardest thing when you're feeling depressed or you're really in a difficult place, you're really feeling unhappy. It's hard to look at yourself and to point the finger back at you, but not in a negative way, just in an aware way. You know, what is it that I am resisting right now? Is there an opportunity for love, for joy, for peace in that experience, that relationship, that job? Is there an opportunity there that I'm missing because I'm so focused on the fact that it's not what I pictured it to be? So happiness is a really rounded, it's a big subject, but it's simple. It's not as complex as everybody makes it out to be. So in 2019, just see if you can look at happiness as something that cannot be held, that it's not something that you can grasp onto, that true happiness transcends all boundaries. And then your life may open up and flower, and that happiness that has always been there may just simply happen, in a sense, as happiness is. And you will not be fighting against unhappiness anymore. You will just be absorbing, allowing fear, sorrow, peace, boredom, joy, love, light, dark, as simply being part of everything that is human. And as you let all of the resistance and the control and the gripping just fall away, then happiness just naturally arrives. Thank you everyone for watching. I really genuinely hope that you've been able to excuse me, see me and hear me. And if not see me, just hear me, because my internet has been going in and out for a while now. So thank you everybody for watching, and thank you Jawahar, and hiya Isabella. I'm just about finished now. I've been talking for about 16 minutes and my internet's been going on and off, so I'm fingers crossed that you can watch it. And I'll be back again soon. I'm going to schedule my videos. I'm going to try that for a little while. It's a bit scarier when I schedule because I know that people might watch. and the introvert in me fears still being seen a little bit, so I'm going to keep doing them. Thanks everyone. Have a beautiful day, an accepting day, an allowing day, a happy day, even if it contains